In this video, I am going to show you exactly how I made $17,000 over the last 30-ish hours and how I called it beforehand in front of my entire audience and they ate too. And before you guys watch this video, understand I hate MLMs. I am not in an MLM. Yes, I am a trader. Yes, I am good. And yes, trading can be difficult starting out, but I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. So without further ado, let's get right into it. You guys can see it here clear as day. I am up $15,000. You may not be able to see it fully in the screen, but I'm up $15,000. Already closed $2,000 worth of trades, but I'm only in gold remaining. And in this video, I wanted to break it down into kind of three different sections. Aussie dollar is kind of coming down right now, but obviously we caught the buy up. You'll see it in a second. Three different sections. One, I'm gonna start off with the technicals. Second, I'm gonna start off with the overall, calling it out and the psychology behind it. And then third, I'm gonna give some advice to you guys to relate back to yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into the charts. And I'm gonna start off with gold, because with gold is my favorite pair. If you guys are not familiar, back in 2019 and 2020, gold was the #1 pair I used to flip an account from 5K all the way to 6 figures. That's what got me really solidified in this journey. So gold will always be my favorite pair, no matter how much hype US30 has right now. Gold is always my #1 favorite. However, I am very, very familiar with this particular pair, which is why I always advocate to trade 1 or 2 pairs so you know everything it does. So when gold is coming down, it's coming down to 1885 and everybody's screaming, oh, it's gonna go down to 1850 and 1800. I was adamantly against that because you're looking at the technicals part, right? You're coming down here, not only is this a whole double bottom, we have so much congestion right here, moving averages crossed over. The market is not breaking below here whatsoever, right? Like, it is not breaking here whatsoever. Let me delete this Fibonacci right here just so you guys can see it. Clear as day, we have a higher low right here. And especially when you see this, anytime you're trading a pair and you see congestion right here and it comes up and then it gives you a higher low, understand market sentiment has switched over, right? Comes all the way back up, all the way back up. Moving averages crossed over, obviously blue is over the red, comes up. And then for me personally, right, I called out when price was at 1897, right? Even though this is like my major, psych level, my major key area right here for resistance, even though it didn't break through it yet, I called in my free Telegram, gold is going to rally. Gold is going to rally before dropping, but it has a whole rally left at 1897, right above this area. There was no guarantee it was going to get above 1900. I was just very, very confident in that. And in doing so, it got way above it, came down, gave us another higher low, which showed us that, structure has not been broken yet. It is still being created. Comes up one last time and gives us another higher low. Once it did this is when I was like, all right, let me just call this signal out in front of my entire audience and let them know, hey guys, I am actively trading gold. I am getting in at 1925. I do have it going to 1940, 1950. I understand, stop losses with gold because, the pip count is very, very different on gold. I understand that could be a little bit tricky, but the reality of the situation is I'm getting in on gold. I don't think you'll have much of a drawdown. So if you want to get in, feel free to get in, right? And a lot of people in my lab got in, and that's the whole point of the lab. Not only do you see my trades and my live trades in real time, I'm gonna tell it to you guys beforehand, so if you guys decide you wanna take the same exact trades, you guys can as well. And now, obviously, if I win, you guys win. If I lose, you guys lose, but you guys know we're all in this together. That is at www.livetradinglab.com. Coming back to gold, you see this clear, 1925, there is no drawdown, virtually no drawdown whatsoever, which is why I'm still in it right now, which is why it is still up, $15,000 right now. I'm debating on closing it because I had this flight right now, and I got another flight, tomorrow. I think today Bailey and I are announcing our second pregnancy, so I can say this here in this video, even though this video will come out in a few days. I can say that here, so that's why I may close it, because I may not have the psychology to try to monitor this while also responding to the world about announcing our second pregnancy, while also traveling to North Carolina and then Atlanta to do a whole bunch of stuff. So I may close it, but right now, currently up 17,000 in profit. We have this longer term trend line right here, scaling all the way back. All the way back to 2067, which I do believe gold will get to, but I don't think it's going to get, break those highs until we have a confirmed recession from the United States, like an actual confirmed recession. Then gold will come out, be the safe haven, all the investors will flock to. That's cool. But right now, TP1 has been hit with gold. TP2 looks like it's going to be hit at 1950. I may manually close, same thing. So that was gold in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm gonna go over the technicals first, then I'm gonna go over the psychology behind it, make it as easy as possible, and then go into advice for you guys. AUDUSD, right? This is a pair I called out as well. And now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't know if it was recording at the time, but it's pulling back right now. But however, I called this out in the lab as well. Same thing over here. Higher low, still have this trend line, another higher low. You could have gotten in right here. I felt this was another site level at 64595, which is why I told everybody, like, if it can safely cross above 600, I would be entering. It safely crossed above and retested, and then we had this massive Maribozu candlestick that kind of shot up about 60, 70 pips, which is a lot for AUDUSD. If you guys don't know, Aussie dollar kind of moves in parallel with gold, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it also moves way, way, way slower than gold. So this is a lot coming from AUDUSD. So right now, currently monitoring it. You can take half profits now, maybe 70% of profits now, and let the others run. Which is me. I took my full profits, but I do believe there's a chance it can get up here. But AUD is tricky, man. Aussie dollar is tricky, which we get into the psychology behind certain things. It's like, how are you going to manage your expectations when you are in a trade, right? What are you going to do? Are you going to back out? Are you going to get in? Me, I know gold is still pushing. I'm at 15.4 right now. And when I was, setting up this video, it was at 14,000, 14.4, 13.9, 15.01. So it's kind of fluctuating a lot. It's 10:30, New York session right now. But the reality is AUDUSD, it's not Asian session anymore. It's not London session anymore. It's going to move a little bit slow, even though it has USD at the end of it. AUDUSD was one of the pairs I kind of used to come up with 4 or 5 years ago as well. And I kind of used it more towards a later Asian session. Because a lot of the news in Australia comes out at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock of our time. But Aussie dollar, I do think it can get up here, but I'm more confident in the gold trade because gold is almost done. Aussie, we got a quick, 60, 70 pips, call it a day. As far as GBPAUD, this was my second favorite pair. Aussie was third. GA is tricky. Now, coming up here, right, I do think GA is going to get way above, 200 flat like it's used to. Like before the pandemic days, if you guys can, let me go back to the daily chart really quick. You guys can clearly see clear as day. I'm like, 2009, what am I doing? Over here, there we go. Like it's used to being way above 2, and even over here, 220. So I know GA wants to get back to those levels, but right here, this is where you have, a clear break of structure, which is what I talked about on gold. When you get to a major psychological level, this is why I have these key levels right here. When you get to a major level, and then you see an immediate reversal, and then it starts, like I said, congestion and consolidation, simply draw a box on it and see what it wants to do. More times than not, if price is going to break a key level, it's going to try to wick above it, come back down a little bit, fake people out, and then push back up. Like think you have like a seller's market, you don't push back up. Right here, it didn't break above this level. It stayed within this range. The MAs crossed over before the box broke. And you can kind of see clear as day. You could have entered right here. If you did not enter right here, don't worry or don't panic. And going back to the psychology things and FOMO, no, because every time price breaks an area, it is going to retest no matter what. It just depends on how long it takes to retest. Came through, retested, basically a full day later because we're on a 4-hour time frame. So 4 hours, 8 hours, 12, 16, 20, about 28 hours later, retested. And guess what? Could have got in right here. Me personally, I wasn't monitoring GA at the time. Sorry, Bailey texted me about breakfast. I wasn't monitoring GA at the time. I was monitoring gold fully. But GA got back to monitoring, called out a whole signal on GA as well, and it hit. It was in profit, barely any drawdown. Had the same range over here. A little bit more ugliness than I would prefer, but I still saw enough for me to get in a trade and call a signal, and I did. And price continued to break down. It stayed below the moving averages over here. I saw it retest off of here. Clearly called the trade based off the 195 levels, and price continued to head down. Now, I have 2 TPs, right? I have one at 195 flat, which I said, but I do think there's a chance it can get to 193 if we can get below this area. It doesn't seem like we're getting below this area right now, which is why I definitely took my profit at my TP1 level. But if price can get below this little wick right here and close below, then I will trade it all the way down, which is a good 180 pips right here, which is still another trade. So that is the technical side of things. And I want you guys to understand that, like I said, however you trade is how you're supposed to trade. Don't listen to people out there who are trying to make it super complicated and say, oh, if you don't trade like, ICT, then you don't know how to trade. You guys are idiots. Like I say all the time, like you lock me in a room with all your favorite traders. It will get dark for every single person. Regulated brokers, all live, all monitoring, all documented, all verified. It will get dark because I know what I'm doing. And just like all these other traders, they know what they're doing as well. But I hate the fans who are just like, even, no offense, even my own fans who are just like, you got to trade like Swaggy. And if you don't trade like Swaggy, then you're an idiot. No, like all trading styles work. It just depends on who's implementing them. So yes, ICT works, Swaggy C works, Q Banks works. Everybody works because it obviously worked for us and how we made it. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Move to a different one. Don't just think this is a holy grail depending on what trader you prefer. Getting back to the psychology part of things, and I want to talk really quick. I don't want to make this video too long. However, on the psychology part of things, the one thing that you guys got to focus on, like the whole technical side that I just went through, beginners may be watching this video and being like, oh, that is so difficult and I don't understand how I'll ever understand that. And that's not the case or the reality. The technical stuff that I just went through and broke down, you can learn in 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's not, I mean, yeah, it's going to factor in, how you trade. But the reality is, what's gonna be the end-all be-all for how you trade is FOMO, greed, feeling scared to get in the trade. Then when you're in a trade, you see you're up $100, then you want to close immediately, as opposed to just let the trade play out. Or you're losing $200 and you want to cut your losses immediately, as opposed to waiting, being patient, understanding drawdown happens, and letting getting back into profit. So that's the one thing I want you guys to work on is psychology, which is why Yerppp said I was a mindset mentor for him. And we can kind of import that in this video because I really stress psychology more than anything else, which is why the greatest Forex book ever is Trading in the Zone. There's no technicals in that book whatsoever. It's a pure psychology book because if you guys are coming into this market and want to learn how to trade, yes, all this technical stuff is very important. You cannot trade without it, but it's easy to learn. What's not easy to learn is putting your real money at risk and winning or losing. That is going to take some time. It's gonna because your heart beats faster, your adrenaline is pumping, and you're just like, okay, I got it. That's gonna take some time, and I want you guys to work on that, and we'll be working on that in a series of my videos, free on YouTube, but obviously deeper and deeper in the live trading lab. Now, however, advice for you guys, which I kind of did already, just now, is come into this market and understand that trading is the easiest, hardest thing you can do in your life. It's the easiest thing to do in terms of this is one of the only jobs in the world that it doesn't require an employer, it doesn't require you to do certain things in terms of like 9 to 5, MLB, NBA, things of that nature. Like you're sitting in your own room or wherever you are in the world with your phone and laptop and just doing what you need to do. That's it, right? Like technicals, in my opinion, is like the easiest part. The hardest part is maybe struggling for 5 months, maybe struggling for 6 months, maybe struggling for a year, maybe struggling for 2 years, right? Before you finally get it. And then having the patience to stick through with that. That's the hardest part in my opinion. That's why I say it's the easiest, hardest thing you could ever do in your life because people look at this market and look at everything and say, well, I'm not good with math. You don't need to be good with math to trade. I'm not good with numbers. You don't need to be good with numbers to trade. You just got to have a good sense of where the market may be going based on understanding patterns. And if you can understand patterns, like color patterns, like green, red. Okay, if I see a candle that is fully embodied, that means this. If I see a candle that has no body and just a long stick, which is called a wick in the market, but it's like a long stick, okay, that means indecision and it may be a reversal. If you can understand patterns, because my daughter can understand patterns, and she's 1 year old, like the color patterns and putting red, she can understand that. If you can understand patterns, you can understand this market. It just may take time, which is why people quit because they always come in the market in a bind, like, oh, I need money next month. I'm gonna trade this market. That's not how it works. Yes, you can make money. I talk about it all the time. My first trade ever in life, beginner's luck, I made $250, but then I also got greedy and lost it, an hour later in my next, class in college. So overall, I want you guys to see this is how I made $17,000. This is how I called it out live in front of my entire audience. And this is how a lot of them ate too. If you guys are interested in learning more, go to www.livetradinglab.com. We will be doing something major in the upcoming days. I don't know if this is coming out before we do something major or in the middle of it. If it's in the middle of it, then go to the lab right now. You'll see exactly what we have. If it's not and it's a day before, then pay attention to Saturday morning because we got something monumental for everybody who was on my YouTube channel. I love you guys, and yeah, even looking at GA right now, I just made a higher low. So if you're in GA, maybe get out if you didn't take your profits at TP1, and just focus on gold like I am. Appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and see you in the lab. Gang, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys received a lot of value from it. Subscribe now so you can be notified when the next one drops, because all we do is drop banger after banger after banger in my shameless voice.